Hey, welcome to Mr. Bill's across campus from McNeese State and down the road from the Legacy Center and Cowboys Stadium. This is our newest edition. Hey, coming off a big win. First time McNeese has beaten a ranked team in 6 tries. Also, first time they've done it on the road since 2013. A 28-26 victory over Weber State on the road, the first of 4 straight road games. Want to thank the Southland Conference for that schedule. Also, first time they've been in the both national polls this week. They're 24th and 22nd. First time that's happened since 2018 as well. First time over 500 since 2018. So a lot of things have happened. A lot of things have changed. A big reason for that is special teams this week. So we're going to talk to a couple of people on that. Coach Tommy Reese and the punter, Finn Lappin from Australia. Interesting story with Finn. First of all, I want to tell you this. For Saturday's game at Houston Christian, there will be a tailgate from 3 to 5 right near campus, or right near the game. That will be provided by the the McNeese Alumni Association Houston chapter. First 150 people get free jambalaya. If there is more, I am told that will be provided for if some more people show up, so don't worry about that. There will be no bus on this trip, though, however. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about last week's game really quickly. First, Coach Reese, the biggest play of the game comes down to a 2-point conversion by a backup Jack Held. How did that happen, and what do you do on that play?
Yeah, Jake, he made a great play. That was the defense out there at the time, and it's something we work on in practice a lot. So it's not surprising that Jake was able to step up and do something for us there.
It looked like a play that was going to be like a Philly special play, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked real similar to that, and it's, like I said, it's more from a defensive standpoint, but they sniffed it out. Followed the rules, did a great job, and that won the game for us. I
want to ask you about the first one, because the first one was a 2-point conversion you weren't expecting.
Sure. Yeah,
they did it basically the same thing. You held them at the 1-yard line. What happened on that play?
Correct. You're talking about the fake field goal they tried?
Well, the fake extra point.
The fake extra point. Yeah, the fake extra point, and actually, if you go back and look at it, the wing was kind of leaning a little bit right there, and we did a good job there. Simeon Mitchell actually made that play. Coach Jackson, our linebackers coach, he does a good job with that field goal block team. He has a big hand in that. It's kind of the lead coach there. And, we saw it and made a play there. So kudos to our guys and our coaches there over on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, special teams doesn't get all the credit it sometimes deserves. But I want to ask you about this guy right next to you.
Yeah.
Finn Lappin from Australia, called Thunderfoot or Thunderleg today in the newspaper, I believe. What does he do differently? I mean, first of all, the best story to me is he kicks with both feet.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a weapon because you can go both ways, and we're a roll punt scheme and what we like to do. So primarily we like to go to the right, and I think everybody can see that. It's been to our games this year. But he can also go the opposite direction, and it makes teams defend both sides. And, he's done a great job for us. I joke all the time. I say, shoot, we got to get the fastest guys possible on our punt team because he's kicking it so far. We got to get down the field. But he's doing a great job, and, couldn't be happier for him and the season he's having right now. So very excited about
Okay,
him.
so you've got, I believe it's 13 punts of 50 yards or more.
Yep.
Last year, McNeese had 5. But yesterday you told me you'd rather down it inside the 1. Why would you rather down it and not just boom it?
Well, you saw the proof is in the pudding, like the game against
Alcorn.
Alcorn, yeah. So if you down it inside the 1, like there's a touchdown opportunity every time, and the defense loves that. All the boys love it.
So I guess the next question for you is, you grew up playing Australian rules football.
Yeah.
Which during the strike this is a long time ago, but during the strike baseball season of 80, I think it was 86 or 85, I watched an entire summer of Australian rules football.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand what the guy doing this was doing and all that stuff. But you said you had to learn to kick with both feet in that game.
Yeah.
What makes you decide which one to use now?
It's just about which direction you're running. So if I'm running out to the left and I gotta use my left foot, I'm not gonna switch my angle to kick with my right because there's a guy chasing you from behind trying to tackle you.
So what does an Australian rules football guy think of American football when you grew up playing with no pads, no helmet, and rough? What do you think about it? American guys a little soft because they wear so many pads?
That's sort of like the old school mindset. like all my dad and his mates, before they sort of really got into it, they thought it was kind of soft. But then, like, you see it a bit more closely on TV, and they're smashing each other, and it's just different.
So, are you ready to take a hit?
I might have to take my first one to really get into it. It's not something I'm dreaming about having happen to me.
I don't want him to get hit, Jim.
I don't blame you.
that.
I don't blame you. I did want to know this, though. You got the kick in light air
Yeah.
while working out before the game.
Yeah.
How far were your punts going?
To be honest, I wasn't my best pre-game outing, but I'd say I hit a couple, probably 60 plus.
Are you jealous of the guys that get the kick there all the time?
Yeah, I was telling my mate after the game, Oscar Doyle, the punter for Weber. Yeah, I was telling him I'm pretty jealous of him. Whereas we're playing in this heavy air every week.
So, Coach, having a weapon like that,
Sure.
that can flip the field, what does that mean for you? And do you have to worry about out-kicking the coverage?
Well, and I tell Finn he needs to do what he does. Do what he does, and we'll take care of the rest from a coverage standpoint, and we'll make sure our scheme's set up to where we can get down there and get in the returner's face or make the tackle. And it's a huge advantage, and really when it comes down to it, it's about the net punt, and that's the distance you punt the ball, minus the return yardage, and right now we're sitting in a pretty good spot with that, and it just helps. Again, it's all about playing complementary football. How well can we help in a field position game and put our defense in a good spot once we punt the ball.
When you have a lot of injuries, like you guys have suffered a few injuries on the defensive side, when you have a lot of injuries like that, do you start losing people or start worrying about putting people on the more snaps, and do you have to almost adjust your depth as well?
Sure.
As that goes?
Yeah, and the special teams depth, it's going to change weekly all throughout the year, and that's offense, defense. Depending on what that looks like from a weekly basis, those guys are going to, change and shuffle and move around. But, we want to try to be as consistent as we can. I tell the guys all the time on punt team, if you're on the punt team, you're special. We think you're one of the best 11 guys on the team, and our guys take a lot of pride in that just because it is a very important play, and you got to execute well on it. But we've done well. Throughout spring, summer, fall camp, we try to do a lot of individual. So if we got to plug guys in midway through the season, it's not brand new to them. It's something they've seen before, and they're ready to go.
Finn, you said to me yesterday that one of the interesting things about you is all these punters from Australia, you guys have learned at an academy, basically.
Yeah.
What's the competition like at that academy, and what's the name of the academy?
So it's called Pro Kick Australia, run by Nathan Chapman, ex-Green Bay Packer. And it's basically 40 guys in Melbourne will train 3 times a week for about 2 hours each time. And you basically just punt the ball like 200 times at practice. You punt it, run and get it, and come back.
So you've got to run and get your own?
Yeah.
So
and if you punt like a terrible ball, like he'll punish you. Like, you do some push-ups or something.
So do you have to get invited to that camp?
You do a tryout, and then like if you got the juice, he'll give you a call back. If not, you might be done.
And you did that for 2 years.
Yeah, so I did it. I started back in 2021, and then I sort of had a little hiatus to work in this thing called Harvest, where we're just working out in the summer. And then I came back to it when I moved back to Melbourne, and then full time for a year.
So what do people in Australia now think of American football compared to before, like your father's generation that thought it was soft? What do they think about it now? And with so many of your punters coming over here and being from there, what does that do for kind of the interest in it?
It's definitely it's seen as a huge opportunity now, especially for like young guys who don't make it to the AFL, which is the professional Aussie Rules League. Like it's a huge opportunity for them to make the most of their talents, and since it's such a prevalent thing, like kicking the ball in our sport, it's so easy to translate.
And they're big there on getting you into college scholarships and college opportunities, right?
Yeah, it's becoming really popular.
Mm-hmm.
Do you almost, as a coach, do you almost have to look there first now?
Absolutely. And he mentioned Chappie and Johnny over there and those guys. They do a great job. And you see the Pro Kick program, they're placing guys all over the country, the FBS, FCS level, and they do a phenomenal job getting those guys ready. And when he gets here, it was a pretty easy transition.
What did you first think when he told you you could kick with both feet?
I said, I got to have this guy. Let's find a way to get him. I started thinking about all the different things we could do, and on punt and how dangerous we could be and how much the different ways we could make people defend. And, it's been everything like that and then some.
So you come from Melbourne.
Yeah.
You don't really go to the heart of America in that you come to the Bayou.
Yeah.
What was that culture difference, and are there similar things?
Oh, I couldn't really think of many similar things, to be honest. Yeah, like the food and everything is just so vastly different. Especially like a place like Mr. Bill's, wonderful food. We have nothing like that back home. But then the people are a lot more nice, a lot more welcoming, friendly. But yeah, like overall, it's just completely different.
What was the hardest thing to get used to?
I'd say like probably the weather. Like it's ridiculously hot all the time. And when I first got here, we had that like cold front for like a week where there was ice on the plants. Like that's why is that happening? It's so hot here. It's meant to be.
So the one time it was cold, you didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it when it was cold, or now when it's hot.
Now you want it to be cold.
I just want it
again.
more temperate.
We have a question.
All right, this is kind of a cultural thing. Australia crocodiles, Louisiana alligators. What's the difference between? Have you seen the alligators here in Louisiana yet?
Yeah, I've seen a couple in the streams, like when we were driving along the road. Saltwater crocodiles are a lot bigger, but fortunately they don't have them down in Melbourne, so they're up north, up in Queensland, Northern Territory.
So, does Australia? When are you watching football? Because you're like a day ahead. When are you guys watching the football games?
Yeah, so Sunday night football is at like 11 a.m. on Monday, back home. So, which is actually good. And all like Thursday night football is Friday morning. Monday night football is Tuesday morning.
So do you watch the Sunday day games in the middle of the night, or?
Nah, they're at like 3 a.m.
So you sleep through them?
Yeah. I'm not that devoted to fantasy.
Tell you when Finn got here, one of the first things we went out and had a meal together, and one of the first things he started talking about was how his fantasy team and the guys he knew in the NFL. I had no idea he knew the NFL like that. I was impressed. I was like, man, this guy's football IQ is awesome. So
you're watching fantasy football even though you can't watch the games?
Yeah, well, you can watch them on ESPN and stuff. And I was watching a lot of college games last year as well.
This is for Coach Reese. What was the process in recruiting him? How did you find out about him? And then take us through that whole process of recruiting him.
Sure. Our previous punter was a pro kick, came through the pro kick program as well. Got a lot of coaching friends throughout the industry that have been a part of recruiting through that organization. That was really the first young man that I'd recruited through that program, and it was just a matter of reaching out, building that relationship, and then getting on the phone with Finn, and it was a lot of virtual calls and FaceTime and getting the deal done.
Did you see the campus or the town or anything before you signed?
Nah, I remember I was in Melbourne like mid-December, and I was riding like a stationary bike, and Chappie like called me, and he was saying like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on McNeese?" And I was like, "What? Like, what is that?" Because I had no idea what was going on. But then I looked into it a bit more and heard about Coach Reese and everything that was going on, and it seemed like a pretty natural fit.
What's Christmas like in the summer?
Oh, it's beautiful. Down by the beach, just eating like prawns and steaks on the barbie and stuff.
So for you, that's just summertime.
Yeah.
Part of summer.
It's wonderful.
Coach, when you guys get into situations with special teams guys, is there kind of a tussle to get them? How much leeway do you get to use guys that start on the special teams? Or is that pretty well?
It's really thought out from a staff standpoint. We meet a lot on special teams and talk about depth, especially early on in the year. And we are smart with our guys. We understand, hey, look, if the guy's getting, so many reps on defense or so many reps on offense, we don't necessarily need him covering punts and kicks. Maybe he's only covering punts. Maybe he's only covering kicks. So it's a puzzle, and you got to put the best pieces together and find a way that where you're keeping guys fresh, but you're also getting your best guys out there at the same time.
What's it mean for you guys to be ranked now, to get off to this kind of a start and kind of forget about last year?
Go ahead, Finn.
Oh, it's just amazing to see. Like, the team put in so much effort, all the preseason, and all the boys are so devoted and committed to this. And it's the proof, like, it's finally great to see the proof.
What about for you?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. You know, and what you really notice, I told Coach Goff this after the game the other day. These guys are just really starting to believe in themselves. They are believing in each other. Team chemistry is coming together, and it's a fun thing to watch. We just got to take it one week at a time and go from there.
How much more fun is it than last year?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, coming in on Sunday mornings has been pretty good the last couple weeks. So we got to keep it rolling.
The interesting thing for you guys is nobody in the country's played 6 games already.
Right.
I looked all through Division One. Everybody that even started after week 0 has had a bye. Where are you guys as far as health and as far as how much forward are you looking forward towards the bye? And how much of a trap game is this one?
Yeah, I think any game you got to go into it, especially in the Southland Conference, and you got to look at it as, hey, this is the most important game of the year, and because it's this week, and that's what we've been preaching to our kids all week. And yeah, the bye week will be nice when we get there. Naturally, just like any football program across the country, you're going to have some, bangs and bruises and stuff this time of year. So it'll be good to kind of have a week to get healed up. But we're going to have a tough one this Saturday, and we got to go take care of business. And I'm excited for our players.
Are the guys talking about the attention they're starting to get, or are you just taking it a week at a time?
Sort of just a week at a time, really, for the most part.
What about the fact that all of a sudden you're nationally ranked, but you still have you still only played one conference game? How do you make sure you stay level on that?
It's just sort of like we got to emphasize like how important conference games are. Like they are what our season relies on, and these out of conference games they're just like a warm up for us to get ourselves right for this conference schedule.
When you guys get to play in big stadiums and that, and then you go to some of the Southland stadiums that are smaller, is that a concern about making sure that they're ready for that?
Yeah, I think you try to get your guys ready as best you can, and it definitely is. Each place has kind of got its own different atmosphere to it, and but when it comes down to it, it's about going out and executing and taking care of ourselves and just going out and doing the best we can to go win the game.
You ready to kick back in almost sea level?
Yeah, it's not my intention, but
what was it like flying back in the middle of the night?
It was definitely the latest I've ever flown back. Not the late. I've been in an airplane for like a long time, but yeah, it was tough.
Did you sleep?
Nah. I watched 21 Jump Street.
What about you, Coach? You get any sleep?
A little bit. Graded the film and then try to get a little bit of sleep, but not much.
Okay, Houston Christian this week, then a bye week, and then 2 straight games with Nichols and Incarnate Word. Lots going to be decided next couple weeks.
Exactly. Yep, we're ready.
When we come back on Pokecast, we're going to talk volleyball. We'll see you after this. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
We're back at Mr. Bill's and on 92.9 The Lake. Don't forget, if you're not here, you can always get us on 92.9 The Lake Live. So watch what you're saying in the background, people. That's an open mic. Anybody have any questions for coaches or players? Just come up to the microphone. We'll get you on right away. Right now, we're going to talk volleyball with Sasha Karlov and
Kendall Osgood.
Kendall Osgood.
There we go.
I got it written right here, and I didn't even read it. I read it wrong. Kendall, you're from Long Beach, California.
Yes.
I used to live in California for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Volleyball is very different in Long Beach.
Yeah.
It's big time, big deal. What brought you to McNeese, and what do you think of kind of how this culture has changed with volleyball here?
Well, I feel like California is just a really big volleyball state, so I grew up around it. But coming here, I was looking for a change. I wanted something different, and I definitely got it. I mean, Louisiana is a lot different than California, so that was really the big thing. But Louisiana's growing. Every state's growing with volleyball. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger literally by the day. So.
What do you think about you've been here 3 years, so you've seen a lot of changes happen here in the program. You also seen the facilities change and all that. Where do you think you are now in volleyball compared to where you were 3 years ago as a program and as a person?
As a program, I think we just keep improving on everything. It's been a big core. I think me, Kenzie Moore, and Bailey Tillman, we've kind of been the core of it since our freshman year. We're the only 3 left, and I think we've kind of made the glue, kind of been the base for it. So, yeah.
You're considered a defensive specialist, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
That means you're diving on the floor a lot.
Yes, sir.
How tough is that on the body?
Ooh, it's tough. It's tough. I'll say that, yeah. I'm pretty known for always bleeding, so I've I've got some gashes in my knees.
She's like a mummy.
Yeah.
She's all wrapped up at practice.
Yeah. So Coach, you got a big 3-game homestand coming up starting tomorrow night on Dig Pink night against Southeastern. How big is this 3 games for you, these 3 matches, and what do you want to see? Are you starting to get healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really big. I mean, we haven't been home in a while, so we're just grateful for that. And, we're coming off a tough loss against Commerce. I think the whole team's fired up, and this is going to be a turning point for us. I think that we're going to come out and make some adjustments. We've been working on some things, trying to get, a stronger start in matches, and we're just really looking forward to playing some really clean volleyball against some three really good programs, so at home.
You've had kind of a tough schedule. You've been away a lot, especially. What has that done for you, and how, does it help chemistry, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think compared to last year, it's not as tough. I think we had a good balance, but what made it tough was obviously the adversity we've been going through with injuries and whatnot. We've had a lot of new players this year, too, just getting used to the program, getting used to the system and everything, and adjusting. But as far as opponents, I think the mixture, the balance, I think that helped us. On the road, we had some long bus rides. We had some breakdowns on the highway. We've had some tough travel trips, but I believe that all gets us prepared for something bigger. And I think by the end of the season, that's going to prepare us for, a conference tournament and being able to handle anything that comes our way.
As a senior now and been around and kind of one of the leaders, what have you had to kind of teach the new guys? Because you have a lot of newcomers here. Mm-hmm. What have you kind of had to teach them about the culture of the program and the leadership of the program?
I think just trying to help them to adjust. I mean, it's not easy adjusting from wherever you're coming from. If you're a transfer, if you're out of high school, just trying to teach them how to adjust as quickly as possible. But just a team first mentality. That's one of the biggest things we talk about in our gym is team first, and we just want to make sure we're there for each other. And if you have a strong bond, I mean, I think it's huge. So that's one of our biggest things. Really close.
All right, Kendall. This is going to put you on the spot.
Oh.
I got a question on Facebook Live.
Oh, gosh.
From a Kelsey.
Oh, that's my sister.
Who is your favorite sister?
Oh, that's cute.
That's just wrong.
I like it.
Gosh, I don't know.
Say somebody else than Kelsey, and then
Yeah.
that'll fire everybody up.
It depends the day. Yeah.
Good answer.
That's a good
Yeah.
answer.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
And probably the right answer. Okay, I want to ask, how many times have you flown into the crowd?
I don't know if I've had a few close calls, but I think BT's had a few really close ones where she's gone really, really into the stands. But I think I've had some close calls, but nothing crazy. Maybe a few.
When you're on the road, do they help you out or no?
No. I wouldn't want them to anyway. I mean.
You don't want your fans to help them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So with all the newcomers and that, how do you expect to gel, and how much better do you think you're going to be by the end of the year?
Oh, I think it's going to be night and day. I think just looking back from preseason to now, we're kind of at the halfway point right now. So we've already made huge strides. We're battling every match. We haven't been blown out by any opponent. It's always competitive. We're just trying to find our identity at the end of matches, at the end of sets. We just want to close it out, and that's what we've been working through. And I think by the end of the season, we're going to be playing our best volleyball, and we're going to be closing those out pretty quickly.
What did volleyball, getting beach volleyball, mean for the program itself? And do you think it's helped you out?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that having 2 programs on campus that play the sport at a high level, whether it's on sand or indoors, we're all close. The programs are close. Obviously, Kendall, she plays both, so we share an athlete, and coaching staffs are really close, and it's a good support system. And then also within the community, there's a lot of people that play beach volleyball, play indoor volleyball, and they all come to our tournaments and games. And so we're just building the brand of volleyball. It's a bigger picture than just indoor, and beach is added to that too. So.
Yeah.
All right, another Facebook question. What will you miss most about Lake Charles when you graduate?
Ooh.
I like that.
Well, basic question is probably volleyball. That'll be my hardest thing to give up, but just the community. I mean, I think coming from California, one of the biggest things I tell people is like Southern hospitality is a real thing, and I think that's probably one thing I'll miss the most.
What's it playing 2 sports, essentially, but the same sport but different ways? What's the biggest difference between the two as far as training goes, and how does it interact with your training?
I think one of the biggest things that we talk about on the sand is like beach legs. So I think the hardest part is probably earning my beach legs back. So when I'm in indoor for a season, then I got to go to the sand. Coach Yaz knows I gotta give me some time. I got to earn the beach legs back. So
easier to dive on the sand though.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot lighter on the body. Yeah.
How much? I know we talked about this before, but how much does having beach volleyball and then a year-round thing kind of build the brand of volleyball for the area? Because one of the things you wanted to do was kind of help these high schools kind of build volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, the sports are very different, but yes, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of people at South Beach that play. There's a whole community of people that play. And so, like I said before, I think just it helps that the Olympics just was around the corner. Kristen Nuss, Taryn Cloth played at LSU. The state of Louisiana loves beach volleyball, and indoors right up there too. So I think it just helps both sports just get more exposure. The fact that we have those high-level athletes training in Louisiana, just right down the road, a couple hours away, just helps Lake Charles as well. Like, we could do that same thing in South Beach. What an amazing facility and incredible people that play there and get more tournaments there.
And we've talked about this too, but also you have the ability to have a real nice facility in your home gym. Mm-hmm. How important is that? Because the first couple years, the first year you were here, you weren't even on campus.
Yeah.
What's that difference, and what did that feel like when you kind of got that as a home?
I mean, we're just grateful. Like, we're seriously so blessed. I think I would argue we have the nicest facility in the conference, so it makes all the difference, and we're just really grateful every day.
All right, one more from Facebook Live. Man, we've never had this many Facebook Live questions. This is coming from this guy back here. Raise your hand, Jamal.
Oh.
He wants to know, who's your favorite non-volleyball athlete?
I guess I have to say Jamal Franklin.
Ah, that's cute.
That's pandering right there. That's just pandering. He was looking for the compliment right off the bat. Okay, so the next 3 matches, how important are they for you, and what do you think as far as crowd attendance? How much you want people to get involved?
I mean, tomorrow night I think we're gonna get a huge crowd because Lee McBride coached here at McNeese years ago, and he's been here for a long time, and he's coaching on the other side of the net, and Jeremy as well. They're doing a great job over there. It's always competitive when we play them, whether it's volleyball, softball, baseball, you name it. So I think people are excited to come out tomorrow and see a good brand of volleyball for Louisiana, and then as well as Saturday and Tuesday, again, just like 2 Louisiana schools that we compete with and are really excited for the opportunity to play at home in our facility.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Kendall. When we
Thank
come
you.
back, my nemesis will be on after this with Will Wade. We're back on Pokecast with Will Wade on 92.9 and at Mr. Bill's. Okay, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Apprehensive. Just a little apprehensive, that's all. You going to be nice to me tonight?
Always nice to you.
I don't know. All right, let's get off the first things first. A week from tonight, you'll be at your banquet.
Yes.
Tell me.
I got the date right this time.
Thank
Next
you.
Wednesday.
I did not press on that because I thought you were playing with me the last time. And,
No, I did not
But you
know.
did not know it, so that's okay. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. We're going to celebrate last year and kind of ring in the new year. So our guys are going to get their rings from last year. They're supposed to come in on Monday. We hope they ship on time, or it's going to be a pretty boring banquet if we don't have the rings. But they're supposed to be here Monday, and so we're going to give our guys their rings and put a bow on last year, and then move forward with this year, and spend some time talking about the team and talking about our progress, and go through the players and make sure everybody knows who the new guys are, and learn some different things about the returners. And we've got a little bit of an auction. I think there's 5 items, but it's all trips to Alabama with us, a trip to South Dakota with us, something over the holidays. An experience at the Southland Conference tournament, and there's one more, but it slipped my mind right now. I read them earlier today, but I'm getting old, Jim. I can't remember stuff.
You're not that old. Okay, but people can sit with a player, correct?
Yes, yeah. The players,
bought
the
players.
players and the staff will be sitting at the table, so it'll be depending on the tables are 1,000, 2,500, and 5,000, and so I think Do
you get better food as the price goes up, or is it all?
you get better player as the price goes up.
So how much? How much did your table go for?
I think the foods. I'm not gonna tell you that. I think the food. I think the food's the same per table. Actually, there is the $5,000 tables. I believe there's like waitresses for like wine and cocktails and stuff like that. I should do a lot better job with this. Reed is here, my assistant. He knows way more about all this than me. He's in all the meetings on this. I do have a meeting on this tomorrow at 9:30. I'll know more I'll know more at 9:30 tomorrow morning. I'll get an update on all this.
Glad you prepped for the show. Prepped for the show.
I did. I looked like I prepped about as much as you. You got 5 words on this piece of paper.
Because here's the thing. Everybody else gets a page and a half.
You got 5 words on the paper.
Because you're going to hijack
and two of them are Will Wade.
You're going to hijack the show anyway. That's the whole point. You're going to hijack the show. Okay, so I want to talk first about, let's go with North Texas. You got North Texas University coming here, a change in your non-conference schedule, moving to the 18th, actually after the Alabama game, I believe.
Yes.
You did want to have all along 2 non-conference D1 games to be home. You finally got that. How tough was it to get, and why didn't you do the home and home with the next year? Why the year wait?
Well, they're the ones that wanted to wait a year. That was North Texas, not us.
Why, did you tell them you were going at some point in time? Or
No, North Texas asked to do it for not skip a year and go the following year on the return. So we said sure. That was not us. That was North Texas's request. It's the same thing as Chambers, who's here. I mean, he works the phones like nobody's business. But it was the same deal as Santa Clara. North Texas has been all on us about playing neutral site games all over the damn country. And I'm sitting here the whole time, like they wanted to play in like Phoenix and play in Las Vegas and play in all these places. I'm like, damn, we're 5 hours from each other. Like, what are we doing? And it eventually comes to a point where, they couldn't fill out their schedule. I mean, I think they still need 3 games. They
North
got
Texas?
us, and I still think they need 2 more games after us because they just thought they could get all these teams to go play them. And then they started using this third-party scheduler who called us every 3 days about these neutral site games. I think he finally realized, like, we're pretty stubborn. We're not going to play you on a neutral site.
Where do they want to play you?
I told you, all over
North
the
Texas.
place. They wanted to play us in Phoenix.
Why would North Texas want to play you in Phoenix?
Well, I mean, it is a way to game the net. So,
Okay.
I mean, if it's on a neutral court, we both would get a little bit better net out of it. But I got no interest in flying to Phoenix to play North Texas. That just seems stupid to me.
Well, I lived in Phoenix. It was all right.
I like Phoenix. I'm not saying I don't like Phoenix. It's the fastest growing metropolitan area in the United States. Did you know that?
I did when I lived there,
Yeah,
yes.
it's really nice.
I heard about that a lot.
I have no interest in flying out there to play North Texas. So anyway, they finally realized, so we set up the home and home. Now we had to move the Champion Christian, and we had to move a lot of stuff around to make it work. But it worked out, and it'd be a good quad 2 game for us. It'd be another good team that we're playing at home. So I think it's a win-win. I mean, look, I don't prefer to do scheduling on October 1st every year. That's not the opportune time. I mean, it just shows you, like, when I brought it to Heath, he's like, shoot, Coach, I got to go talk to Jacob to make sure we hadn't printed the tickets yet. Like, you don't even think about stuff like that. Like, if we'd printed the tickets, like, we were going to have to, I mean, we were still going to make it work, but it was going to be a lot more of a issue. So, luckily, we were able to work through all the logistical stuff, and Champion Christian was really good about moving the game, and we worked something out with them where we don't have to pay the full buyout from the contract, and so ended up working out really, really well. But it's gonna be a really tough game.
Got a question for you.
I'm going to beat you to this, Jim, because you probably got on your list there to ask.
He doesn't. He's got nothing on this list. He's got
The
nothing.
recent Navy SEALs type training. Just talk about that a little bit.
Oh.
That was segment 4, but we'll go ahead.
You have nothing for segment 4.
It's
You have
here.
segment 4 with nothing listed.
I got my promo.
You have
in here.
segment 4 with nothing listed.
They don't have to know the secrets.
I'm just telling you.
I don't go into your locker
Thank
room.
you
and
for doing his job, because he obviously
do
can't do
I
it.
go into your locker room and say right on the board instead?
So we do our team retreat every year, and I've used these Navy SEALs before. I used them at Chattanooga and VCU. I just felt like this team needed it. SEALs are the best in the world at communication, attention to detail, and our team needs a little bit better communication, a lot better attention to detail. And I felt like that this was kind of the team that needed it, and so we started working on it. Our guys had no idea. Last year, the retreat was more, all that kumbaya BS where we sit around the campfire and tell stories and all that junk. And so our guys kind of thought that was how it is. I was dying laughing as we were getting ready to leave for the retreat. Cooper was putting a big TV in the van with his PlayStation. I'm sitting here going, oh, boy, if you only knew. You're not going to have any time for that TV. And so we always watch a movie on the first night. So we were watching The Lone Survivor, and nobody in my assistants didn't know. The only people that knew were me, Reed, and our strength coach Steve. Those were the only 3 people that knew that the SEALs were there. And like 20 minutes into the movie, they just storm in the cabin, And our guys are like, and I played it up, of course. I'm telling our guys, hey, we got the movie. Y'all go get your sleeping bags. We got some candy for you. They're on the floor eating Twizzlers and Skittles and stuff. And these guys just storm in. And we were off and running. I'm getting too old to do that, though. I was in a lot better shape when I did it with them at VCU and Chattanooga.
Well, no, I've seen you at practice. I saw you actually one time running it during a practice with the rope.
Yeah.
Making sure people are getting under the
I still
rope
get out there. I
or whatever.
take a charge. I let them run over me. They like doing that.
I haven't seen you take a charge yet.
They like doing that. I demonstrate our loose ball drill. They like that.
I've heard your voice in practice a few times.
Oh, I'm sure you've heard that.
I'd be in the other room and I'll hear it. I wanted to ask you, I want to get back to the schedule on one thing, though. Moving the game from December 18th to November 18th does leave up a big gap right before conference. The Champion Christian game was December 18th.
Yeah, but then we got the game the 22nd against.
Yeah, I know, but
It leaves us. It's a week break between Mississippi State. That was the only game we could move to make the North Texas game
but I mean,
work.
there's no concern about that. Heading into
I mean, there
conference?
is, but I mean the positives of playing North Texas far outweigh all of that. I mean, we can second guess it or this isn't perfect and that isn't perfect, but the reality is we got a quad 2 game at home against a good team who's a regional opponent who used to be in our league and we have a history with. We need to play them, and we got to figure out the details and make the details work, and we can't get bogged down in the minutia of that. I mean, is it perfect that we have a week off between Mississippi State and UL? No, but at the end of the day, we owe it to our fans to play the North Texas game if we get the opportunity to play it. We got to play it. We got to make it work.
How big was the fans part of it in that? Because you wanted to upgrade the schedule for the fans.
We want to upgrade the schedule. I mean, we've got, our season tickets are going well, and hopefully this will get a few more people to buy season tickets. And so, I think that, if we can have a good home schedule, that certainly helps. And so I thought that was a big part of it. We don't want people to spend their money. I mean, no offense, I'm not sure how exciting it is to watch us play, Champion Christian. It'd be a lot more exciting to watch us play North Texas. Now, we may lose, but it'd be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it wasn't very exciting last year.
Another question. Brandon Chambers, does he have like the hardest job in the country when it comes to scheduling? How tough is it to schedule?
Yeah, it's brutal. People would post on there's these scheduling boards. So you go on this Basketball Travelers board. There's all these scheduling boards. So people would post that they need a game. 2 seconds later, Chambers would call them. Hey, we're ready to play you. Oh, coach, we already filled the game. Like, damn, you just posted 2 minutes ago. How'd you fill the game? It's like impossible. But I should print some of the emails we get back on some of the scheduling stuff. It's wild.
I've heard some of them.
It's wild, some of the responses we get, and so, I mean, it is what it is. But we've put together a good schedule. We've put together as good a schedule as we could put together, given the circumstances, and Chambers has done a heck of a job with it.
Does North Texas agreeing to this? Does that show that, hey, they looking at McNeese now like this is a really good matchup for us?
Yeah, I mean, they get something
in the long run.
Yeah, they get something out of it too. It's going to be it's a potential quad 1 game for them. I mean, it's just people are stupid. They should schedule us. Like, if they want to get good games and they want to manipulate the net, they should schedule us. But most coaches don't think like that. But it's very smart on North Texas's part. Very smart on Santa Clara's part. If you were a mid-major or mid-major plus trying to get in that large or trying to get in the tournament, we're a very, very smart team to play. Now, they were both wanted us initially on a neutral court, which was even smarter. But it's numerically, it's a very, very smart game for those guys.
If you went to a neutral site, you'd have to have another game with you, wouldn't you? It just wouldn't be one game. It'd be pretty hard to sell any big tickets there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, those things make money a lot of different ways than tickets. Everybody gets caught up on the ticket sales. There's a lot of different ways those things make money. It doesn't matter.
So
they would figure that out. The promoters are very resourceful.
So you think you're going to make money they'll make money off your game at South Dakota State?
Oh yeah,
that's the first year.
There's 3 games.
That's the first year of the 68.
There's no doubt they're going to make money.
That's the first year of that event.
I don't know if you know this. People don't do stuff if they don't make money.
No, yes,
they're making money.
But that's the first year of that event.
Yeah, they're making money.
What's it like to be thought of enough to be in the inaugural event like that?
I mean, it's good. It's good. It was good to get a good opening round game or good opener. Once again, we were the only team that would play South Dakota State up there. None of those other teams wanted to play South Dakota State. I said, I'll play them. So, you got to play who you can get, and it'd be a good game.
Well, you basically said you'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, we're not running scared of anybody. Not in my nature to run scared.
Really? I'm surprised. When we come back with Coach Wade, we'll get more into the schedule and some other stuff and talk about practice on segment 4 after this. We're back with Will Wade at Mr. Bill's on 92.9 The Lake in the Pokecast, right down the street from where you call home the Legacy Center. There's still not a statue of Heath Schroyer up, by the way. I do want to ask you this, because this is a serious question to me. Please tell me it costs more money to eat dinner with Will Wade than Heath Schroyer at this banquet. Please tell me that.
Probably so.
Okay, that I couldn't handle.
Probably so.
I don't get a free meal out of it. So
Are you coming to the banquet? You're supposed to be coming.
I'm here.
Oh, that's right. You have to have an excuse this time. You have a valid excuse. Sorry. Okay.
All right, the last time you were here and the last time we talked extensively, you weren't very happy with your ball club. You seemed a little bit, how do we say, upset.
What made you feel that?
The fact that the room shook when you spoke at the press conference. It was a lively press conference. It made me laugh. So if you make me laugh, I know it's. But how are you practicing now?
Well, you stuck in practice the other day. Why don't you tell everybody?
I was there for a very short period of time. I go and watch after the Media Monday. So I like.
Well, what were your impressions?
You guys stretched very well. I didn't see a lot.
Oh, you didn't watch any more.
I didn't watch
that?
the entire practice.
I got
you. You did some good stretching.
We've been playing better. We've been better. Communication's been better. Our attention to detail's been better. We're getting a little bit better leadership. We're moving in the right direction. So
that was the big thing, was leadership.
I like where we've been the last this week particularly. Closed last week better. The stuff this weekend with the Seals helped, and this week we've been off to we've had a good start. So hopefully we can keep it going. But I like where we're moving at this point.
Looked like better energy.
Yeah, we got good energy. I think it's getting a little bit closer too. We got 6 seniors. They've done this a bunch. It's like, all right, can we get closer so we could? But I think that we're getting a little bit closer, and I like where we're heading.
This isn't a question. This is a comment on Facebook. Greg Stevens, a season ticket holder, said that he's going to be at the Virgin Islands And also, he said he was very impressed. He got a call from the team today thanking him for the season tickets. He just wanted to express his gratitude for that.
Well, we appreciate him going to the Virgin Islands. But, yeah, we spent about 4:30 this afternoon. We divided out a bunch of the season ticket holders, and each of the players called 10 or 15 folks. So we did that from the office just to show appreciation. You know, we appreciate everybody, the season ticket holders, the Platinum Club holders, the courtside club seats. So we did that. We did that this afternoon, and our guys did a good job. Our guys got on that phone. They did a good job. They Mike Saunders, every time I looked, Mike Saunders was talking to people for like 6, 7, 8 minutes. I was like, Mike, we're going to be here all night. Like, just thank him. Let's, you know. But he talked to him for a while. But it was good for our guys. We want to show our appreciation, and people spend their hard-earned money to watch us play, and we want to let them know we appreciate it. So I'm glad he enjoyed the call.
How are you health-wise?
We're getting better. Breed's on the mend. I think he'll be back in probably 2 weeks. And Sincere's the only other one who's out. Parker, he stays hurt, but hopefully he'll be back in another 3 weeks. So those are really the only 2 injuries. Everybody else is ready to roll. I think Breed's getting closer. He's really attacking rehab. He's been awesome. So
okay,
feel good about him.
I want to get into a college question for you, because I know you love to talk about NCAA and college questions that get you.
I don't want to talk about that tonight.
No, but this is a question for you about. There's all this talk about realignment for football and all that. How much does basketball have an input on realignment when they talk about realigning leagues and that? Do you have much? Does anybody come up and ask?
Not as much. I mean, Gonzaga going to the Pac-12, that's obviously a basketball basketball play. You know, whoever picks up Memphis is more of a basketball play than football play, although they've got metropolitan area, some obviously FedEx and some major corporate sponsors, but basketball's second down to football. I mean, it's just economics, man. You make more money at that level that they're doing the realignment. You make more money on football.
But a Gonzaga move.
Yeah, Gonzaga was smart because the Pac-12 is going to give them. Pac-12 is giving them 50% of the units that they earn from the NCAA tournament. So the way the units work is usually the units go to the league and the league divides it out. Well, Gonzaga had worked to deal with the West Coast Conference where the league divided out, but they got more of a portion because they basically earn 90% of the West Coast. Well, but they still not going to get what they're getting in the Pac-12. And so they're getting 50% of the revenue in the Pac-12 off of their tournament share. So you get $1.6 million every round you play in over 6 years. Just a lot of money. And so, they stand to make a fortune in the Pac-12. They've cut a good deal to go in the Pac-12. So it's smart for the Pac-12 because they're going to get revenue that they wouldn't have had. Washington State and Oregon State aren't exactly mainstays in the NCAA tournament. No. And it's smart on Gonzaga because they're getting in a similar league or maybe a little bit better league than the West Coast Conference. And they're going to be able to keep what they earn as opposed to spread it to all these other teams.
Yeah, that's a good deal for them. Plus, they're now in a league where they don't have to worry about 1 bid, 2 bids. Although the West Coast usually got 2 bids anyway. But now they could have multiple bids.
Yeah.
So, and you may not have to face them now.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But now does that move you up one more notch in the mid-major world?
We'll see. I don't know.
They can't be considered a mid-major, though, can they?
Who?
Gonzaga anymore.
I mean, the new Pac-12 is a mid-major league.
It's
just the Mountain West. The Mountain West rebranded.
But that's where it gets interesting to me is how does those tournaments play out? How does the NCAA look at them now?
In basketball, it's going to be looked at differently than football.
Yeah.
I mean, football, they're going to be on the outside looking in still. Basketball, there'll probably be a 2 or 3 bid league, and the Mountain West will be a 2 or 3 bid league when that thing gets settled out. And that'll be the 5 or 6 bids that they got between the Pac-12 and Mountain West most normal years.
I did have a question from Facebook from me earlier today. They wanted to ask you, does North Texas, a victory over North Texas and then not winning the conference title, does that shoot you up to a 2-bid league, or is that still way?
That's what I said earlier last week when y'all asked that question. I mean, we've got to win a boatload of these non-conference games. So it's not North Texas in a vacuum. It's all of them together. And so we've got to win. We got a lot of them we got to win. I mean, it's a thin needle we're trying to thread if that's what we're trying to do. And so we've got We got to go 9-2, and there's certain of those 9 we absolutely have to win if we want to have a chance.
Yeah. And then you basically have to almost run the table in the conference and lose in the finals.
Correct.
There's a lot of things that go into it, but because you talk about the net.
I'd prefer just to win the damn tournament and not worry about that.
Well, just
How about
don't lose
that?
at home.
How about that?
Just
That's
don't
what
lose
we
at home
prefer to
again.
do.
How hard is that? Just don't lose at home.
Nothing to it, Jim.
There you go. So when do you turn from training camp type to game preparation type?
Well, we got a scrimmage in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday, so we'll turn to we're still in training camp, but we'll turn to more game prep a couple days before that first scrimmage. We're gonna do an inter-squad scrimmage next Wednesday before we have the banquet. Bring in some officials, and we're a lot more physical team than we were last year. We are very, very physical, but we gotta. I'd rather tell guys whoa than go. But we got to tame some of this because we knock the hell out of each other, which I love. But we've got we gotta pull it in a little bit. So we're gonna bring some officials in next week, work with them, and then we're gonna give our guys a couple days for fall break since we were in El Salvador and they've had a long preseason. So we're gonna give them a couple days off for fall break, and then we'll get back and be ready to scrimmage that next week.
You still against the El Salvador trip as far as talent played?
What do you mean?
You didn't seem to like the talent that you played in there.
Well, I just told you it wasn't all that good. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you get all excited when we play those guys. Those guys are.
I didn't get excited. You're the one that told me it was going to be a great schedule.
Well.
It just didn't work out that way.
Correct.
All right. Who has kind of stepped up and been a surprise at camp yet? Is there
Brian
any one guy?
Celebonge, the big kid from Arizona State, he's damn good. He's way better than I thought. First couple weeks, I was sitting there going, I don't know about this, but he is. Oh, he's a player.
What's his true size?
6'9". He's physical. He rolls every time. He sets as good a screens as anybody I've seen. He does all the stuff nobody wants to do, and he does it at a high, high level. He's going to be a terror in the Southland. I mean, an absolute terror. You can't keep him off the glass. He's a monster. He's been 100 times better than I thought.
Anybody else?
Breed was really good until he got hurt. He had been playing. He had been playing really well.
I had seen him a few times in the gym, and he looked good.
Yeah, he had been playing well. But Celebonge, man. Whew. Now, the problem is if he hears this show and I compliment him, he'll be terrible for a week. You can't compliment him too much. Once he gets some compliments, his head's so big you can't get it through the door. So hopefully he's not listening, and if he is, Brian, I'll be on him first thing in the morning.
You didn't mean any of it.
I didn't mean any of it, and if any of y'all tell him, we got a problem.
What was the favorite drill that the SEALs did with you? Was it the water? Was it?
I mean, I don't know if any of it's a favorite. You're struggling through all of it.
Did you do it with them?
I did every bit of it.
Did all your coaches?
Chambers did most of it, and Steve, our strength coach, did most of it.
So did you enjoy
I
it?
didn't do I shouldn't say I did every bit of it. That's a lie. I did 80% of it. Some of the logs and some of the stuff, you have to be at certain heights, and the height have to be the same, and we didn't exactly match in some of the height groups.
So did you get tougher? Were you yelling louder the next week?
I was already tough, Jim.
Look, I think your film sessions fascinate me.
Huh?
Your film sessions fascinate me.
What's so fascinating about them?
Just there's nothing good. Nothing good happens during the film, I noticed.
Oh, we can do positive film.
I've yet to see that.
Oh, well, you need to come more often. We have positive film.
I'll come more often to make sure. Want to thank Will Wade and other guests tonight for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Pokecast after McNeese plays Houston Christian.